The Procurement Act is set to bring a whole new range of ways that the UK public sector can award work to suppliers. One such tool is the dynamic market. In this video, we'll explain everything buyers and suppliers need to know about this brand new route to market. Let's get started. So, what are dynamic markets? Dynamic markets are an evolution of a procurement route that existed under the old regime, Dynamic Purchasing Systems, or DPSs. DPSs act like framework agreements by providing a list of compliant suppliers, but unlike frameworks, they must be open for new suppliers to join them throughout their entire lifetime. DPSs can only be established to facilitate procurement of specific goods and services. Dynamic markets, on the other hand, can be created for all procurement types. They must also be open to new suppliers throughout their entire lifetime. So, how do contracting authorities go about creating a dynamic market? Any contracting authority can declare its intention to create a dynamic market at any time by publishing a dynamic market notice. A notice must also be republished once the market officially opens, and also once it comes to an end. The initial dynamic market notice specifies the terms suppliers must satisfy in order to enter the market. These terms cannot be altered once this notice has been published or throughout its lifetime. Dynamic markets have no maximum length, but any duration must be specified in its dynamic market notice. Once a dynamic market goes live, suppliers can apply to join the market at any point during its lifetime. There is no limit to the maximum number of suppliers who can join the market. Tenders intended to be awarded via the market must be published publicly and mark reference to the fact that only members of that market will be considered. All new or pending applications to join the market must also be considered while this tender is open. Contracts are then awarded by referencing the supplier's membership of the relevant dynamic market. Fees may also be charged to suppliers after they've been awarded a contract via said market. There's a second variation of dynamic markets you should be aware of, utilities dynamic markets. As said before, dynamic markets can be used to purchase any type of good or service. This is slightly different in the case of utilities procurement, however. Dynamic markets intended for utilities operate with a couple nuances. Tenders that are intended to be awarded via utilities dynamic markets do not need to be published publicly, but only need to be published to the incumbent members of the market. Fees may also be charged to suppliers both when awarding a contract and also when obtaining or retaining membership of that utilities dynamic market. So, what does this all mean? How can buyers and suppliers alike make the most of dynamic markets? For buyers, here are a few things to consider. Dedicate time now to consider what goods or services you could start procuring for your own homemade dynamic markets. Given the open nature of these markets, a wide array of suppliers should be able to provide these goods or services. Next, ensure you've planned out your dynamic market's entry requirements thoroughly, ensuring they're both reasonable and proportionate to what you're after. These terms cannot be amended after it goes live. Also, consider the resource implications of opening a new dynamic market. You need to have the internal capacity to monitor and consider new applications to your market throughout its lifetime, and must respond to all applications within a reasonable period. Consider how you could utilize dynamic markets to encourage SMEs into your supply chain. By their open-ended nature, dynamic markets should be more accessible to time and resource-restricted SMEs. On the other hand, if you're a supplier, once the new Procurement Act goes live, make sure you're on the lookout for these new dynamic markets. They represent a new, accessible way to facilitate winning work in the public sector, so don't miss the opportunity to join relevant ones in your niche. That said, once you're on a dynamic market, you're not guaranteed to win new work. You'll still need to craft relevant and resonant tender submissions that align with your contracting authority's needs. Use data-led insights to understand their procurement footprint, the market's conditions, and fine-tune your offer. And finally, if you're an SME, dynamic markets represent a great way to get a foothold in the public sector marketplace. Unlike framework agreements, you can apply to join a dynamic market at any time, meaning you won't be put under the same time limitations to access them. So, that's everything you need to know about dynamic markets. But they're just one of the many changes being introduced by the Procurement Act. If you're worried about how the Procurement Act will impact your business, you're not alone. The Procurement Act presents the biggest change to public procurement in almost 10 years, possibly even longer. Tussle's market intelligence platform provides data-driven insights into the public sector marketplace. No matter how the procurement landscape changes in the years to come, you can always rely on Tussle for trusted insight into your target accounts, frameworks, and competitors. Book a demo on the Tussle team to learn how you can start using data to drive public sector sales, future-proof your business, and de-risk your public sector sales strategy. Send us a message at contact@tussle.com. I've been James. Catch you next time.